Hi guys, I'm Jess and today we're going to be talking about my journey into higher education. So I've always wanted to go to university. I knew that there were other options out there for me, but it's just one of the things I wanted to do. When I started my GCSEs, I knew I wanted to go into something science-based because that's just what I enjoyed at school. I was always quite good at science and I found it the most interesting subject. But it wasn't really until the end of my GCSEs and beginning of A-levels that I decided I wanted to go into medicine. After my first year doing A-levels, we had our mock exams, which would go towards our predicted grades. I didn't quite reach the grades I needed to apply for medical school, so I knew I wouldn't get in even if I did apply. So I had to change my career path. At first I was quite gutted and annoyed at myself because I thought maybe I could have tried harder. But I think it was just the fact that obviously I wasn't quite able enough. So I thought I'll try something which is a bit easier to get into, and I decided to go and apply for a course doing biomedical science. However, when I did my A-levels, I actually didn't get enough grades for that as well. So all of the universities that I did apply for didn't accept me, which obviously was, again, annoying, but it gave me the opportunity to change my mind and to have a little rethink. So I was kind of forced to take a gap year. I used this gap year to get a job and earn some money and have a bit of a rest from education, so that when I went to university I would be more enthusiastic about it. And it was my mum actually that suggested to me, why don't you apply for a forensic science course? And I hadn't really thought about it before because my original plan was medicine-based or hospital-based or something like that. But I did go on a kind of a UCAS day, I think, at Bournemouth University previously. And one of the talks we had was a forensics talk. And I remember telling my mum I really enjoyed it. So she obviously remembered that and suggested it to me. So I did some research into that and eventually decided I was going to apply for that course. Now, all the way through my schooling years, I decided that I wanted to go away for university. I wanted to move town, go somewhere different and not live at home. However, when looking at the forensics courses, one of the best universities for forensics was Bournemouth, which I already lived in. So I didn't really want to go to Bournemouth originally, based on the fact that I wanted to move. But now all of a sudden I was faced with this, well, best course for you is in Bournemouth, in your hometown. And I was thinking, well, I've got to think, is it important to go to somewhere that's good for me, or is it important to go somewhere that's different? So I had a little bit of an issue, like, toying with that. But I eventually went on the open days to Bournemouth, and actually I came back and it was the best university that I'd been to. Out of all of the other ones, I'd been to about 10 universities before, looking at different courses, and Bournemouth was actually the best one I'd been to. So I applied for Bournemouth. I applied for another 4 because you get 5 choices of unis. All applied for forensic science, and I got all my offers back, and I chose Bournemouth. I was quite surprised that I got in with the grades I got because I didn't do particularly well, but because I had already got my A-level grades, the university's a bit more lenient with that because they know what you've got. Whereas if you're going in with predicted grades, they want you to have the ones that they've asked for because it's not set in stone what you're going to get. So I was really happy that Bournemouth accepted me. And it's been the best decision I've made. That gap year and that the fact that I actually failed to get the grades I needed for the course I wanted originally was actually the best thing that happened. It was like a blessing in disguise, because I've completely changed my career path. I now want to be a detective. I'm loving my course so far, and I'm loving the path that I'm on. And I wouldn't have thought about that if I had got the grades. I would have been in a course I actually wouldn't have enjoyed. So I guess the message from that is that don't always think that your failures or a little bit of a setback is going to be a bad thing. I always kind of believe that things work out the way they're meant to be, and I kind of proved that. When I started my course at Bournemouth, doing forensic science, I did it for a couple of weeks, and then I decided that actually the forensics investigation course was a little bit more me, because it was more towards the detective side rather than being in a lab. So I was a little bit concerned that I'd chosen the wrong course, but actually it was so easy to switch because the first year for all of the forensic courses is the same. Just because, you know, you've applied for a course and you're doing that course does not mean that you have to stay on that. Universities tend to be quite flexible, and you can always switch and change if you want. And even if you get to the end of the first year and you decide, actually, I want to do something completely different, like business or something instead of science, then you can do that. It's not an issue. So I guess the main message to take away from what I've just talked about is that it's completely up to you what you do with your life. You shouldn't let anyone tell you what they think you should do. It's your decision, and the whole point of it is for you to be happy and you to be on your right path. And another thing is that it's okay to change your mind, and every single journey is different. It's not just GCSEs, A-levels or college, and then university or whatever. You can go on, there's so many different options. There's apprenticeships, there's going straight to work, and you shouldn't let anyone tell you that your decisions are wrong. So yeah, that was my journey into higher education, and a little bit of advice for you guys, I guess. If any of you are having a similar situation to me, then I guess just see that I'm okay and it worked out for the best for me, so I'm sure you guys will be perfectly fine, and just keep going with it. If you have a goal, keep going. If it doesn't work out, try again or rethink it. You know, it will work out in the end. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you got something out of this.